What a
Like,
setup!
Oh, look
oh my
at
gosh, what is
that.
that?
Holy cow!
Hello.
How about that
Hi.
setup?
This is the first time in many months that I can blame being busy for being late.
Oh, don't even worry about that. We're just so blown away by your little surrounding backdrop there. You went all out for this.
That's kind of my middle name, all out, you know?
No, that's great. We've got, I mean, I got a Clorox thing behind me, which is pretty nice. That shows I'm a baller.
I think we're all stocked up on that.
Good for you.
Fantastic. Well, how are you? It's nice to see you.
It's very nice to see you also. It's, great to be connecting with people today. And it's just, over the last few months, I feel like that's kind of been my job, just kind of creating music, but like trying to stay connected because it's definitely been a task. And I think that's been what everybody's kind of been trying to do. So I'm just happy to be on the phone with humans.
Well, you were going to kind of hold off on releasing music for a while at the beginning of the pandemic. Then you decided to release this, and you've got your fans and all of us kind of worked into a frenzy that is it a new Miley? Is it a different Miley, or is it the real Miley? What were you hinting at?
I've actually listened to the song a couple times this morning because, sometimes when we write something, usually when I write a record, I've written it months ago and then you release it and you kind of feel disconnected from it. But I only wrote this song like 4 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And the way it actually kind of happened was I was writing a treatment. This is my first self-directed video. And I was actually writing a treatment for another record of mine. And Andrew Watt, who's my creative partner and producer, came over and played me this track on his phone. And I at first was kind of like, Andy, like, I got to focus on what we're doing. We're shooting a video in 1 week. And he goes, I know, but for some reason, like even just the visuals and where you're at, like this piece of music. And he played it for me. And all of a sudden it felt like someone had handed me like these pages that were meant to tell my story right now. It was like the greatest gift of a diary I'd ever been given. It just felt like the foundation of which I could build a sturdy, direct kind of control of my own narrative. Because in the last year, and I guess over the last 15, my narrative is usually told from the press or from the media.
Right.
And I try to use my own words and my own articulation and my own poetry to really kind of clear up where I'm at. And it does kind of feel a little backwards that, I think especially as women that we're constantly clearing up for ourselves and feels like justification, but this just felt like the right time to really get in control of my narrative and that the track felt like it was just the perfect base.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
And I feel like that's been you like throughout your career is taking control and like having these heavy influences of other women and just being that voice for us of just like, this is me, this is what you get.
And a lyric in the song at the end of both verses, it says forever and ever no more. And I was thinking about what that means this morning before we got on the phone. I really listened to the song and thought like, what was I trying to say? What am I trying to say? And I think especially like young girls, we're told to commit like it's your best friend forever. As early as you can remember, can't you remember attaching forever to so many relationships?
Sure.
Yes.
Rather than that being, again, controlled as, well, you're bitter and you're jaded. You don't believe in forever because you've been hurt. No, because I have a good sense of reality and seasonal relationships. And I just do believe that there's time in your life for everything. And sometimes every person, there are some stories of people that have been together from, 15 to 70. And it's like, a lot of those people haven't really lived the fast-paced life that I think, especially in kind of our modern society, not just me as like a celebrity, but just modern society has really changed how quick we grow because we have access to so much. And I just really thought about them. One of the more important lyrics, I think, is people having an understanding of what I mean by forever and ever no more, because it really sets up us for, a lot of us feeling like failures if something isn't forever. And that isn't the case. That's just reality.
Well, I think you nailed something there, and I want to play the song right away. That people sometimes, and I've talked about this on the air, come into your life for a season. And they're there for a reason. We learn from them. They're a chapter in our life. They're a page in our life. There are several chapters in our life, and that's okay. People will come in and out of your life at all different times. But in the end, it's your story. So you make what you can of these people's appearances in your own story.
Absolutely. And it's definitely not acceptable to kind of, crucify people for failed relationships, because that is so human. And also, I don't really think there is a failed relationship. Again, it's like a building block of who you're going to be. And I just don't think that a relationship can really be a failure.
Well, that's an incredibly positive way to look at it. Instead of looking at it like something's going to weigh you down, you look at it as a stepping stone in life to find yourself to a more elevated plane.
And I mean, every day I'm really working on this. I don't go for the low hanging fruit. Like, I like to work hard on myself, and I like to grow, and growing pains are kind of, maybe it's a weird fetish of mine. I kind of like growing pains, and they're uncomfortable. I'm actually going through them this morning. Like, I'm feeling like, again, like everyone else, I've been in my Corona cocoon. I'm totally like cooped up, and there's a little anxiety about going, all right, well, here I go again. Like, I'm hanging myself up the dartboard, let them go. And again, I thought about how I've kind of become tough, but not cold and not closed. But life is tough and love is tough. And it's not like, it's not a jaded. It's that I am cool with saying that I'm like a tough person that can take what life throws at me, and I'm going to like throw it back. And, and not a way of like retaliation or spite or revenge, but I'm just in the game, and that's it.
Oh, we're so happy you're here. And it's so funny because you're already opening up so much today on the interview about how you're feeling and your Corona cocoon and everything. And please don't take this the wrong way, but there's a feeling from my side. And I'm an older guy, and I got, a kid and everything, 12 years old. I see you as a woman. I see you as a little girl. I see you in this. You don't need my protection or anything. You're you. But I'm sitting here going, I don't want anybody to say anything bad about you at all. You're a human being that seems like you have a really kind heart. And you've been in here before, and you tried to get my wife to wear pasties for Christmas.
That's true.
That's all true. She did ask my wife to put on an outfit and do a little jingle ball thing for me for Christmas. But you just seem like you're in a good spot, and you're such a good person. I wish you nothing but the best, seriously.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I was thinking about, you kind of noticed my set here, and you said I went all out, and yes, that's me and everything in my life. And one thing I did want to mention was that the kind of continuity in the video and obviously here is the disco ball. And I think that the reason that was so important isn't because it represents like a party and the 70s, which of course I cover a lot of songs from the 70s and I love it, but it's about what the disco ball represents on like a soul level. So it's a bunch of broken pieces that are put back together again to make an entire object. And when the light is finally kind of shining on them and you can feel that lesson, the light of a good lesson, imagine like what it creates. People are in total awe of disco balls. And so when you see a broken person that puts themselves back together again, we should be in awe of them. We shouldn't judge them. We should just be in awe of learning of how to do that. And I always have just had a fascination with disco balls because I like the idea that they're a bunch of broken pieces put back together.
That's cool.
How great is that?
I've never thought of that.
I love that.
That's a good analogy.
Is so drawn to. Aren't we drawn to kind of broken people that have found their way again? It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know you, and I'm sure everybody's trying to talk to you about this, but you posted that photo with Dua Lipa and you said that she's heard what we haven't. Is this the song you were referring to, or is it an EP or the full album? What are you talking about?
Dua's heard my record up to where it is this far. And again, like, I think all of us are, kind of experiencing change really rapidly. Like right now, it just feels like 2020 is just the metamorphosis year. It's just like, again, all this. So I hope that she's heard the record, but I have a feeling that with these life experiences happening at such an increased, incredible speed, that there will be more songs, or maybe I will outgrow some of those songs and beat them. That's what happened with Midnight Sky. I went in like, maybe I can beat this record that I'm making a music video for. And I hadn't even sang the chorus yet on the mic and looked at Andrew Waugh and goes, that's my first single. And I said, good thing, because I already got the studio booked for the music video next weekend. I just got to send the new song to everybody and get everyone on board. But I don't really, now I'm in a place where I would have felt good that this. I don't really have to get people on board. I can just do whatever I want. So that feels really good.
Good for you.
I said, just so you know, I'm going to be doing this weekend. Please get me a good budget because it's not going to be cheap.
Yeah. I love that. You're in such a good spot. It sounds like you've done some soul searching during quarantine and stuff too, and getting to know yourself better like we've all done. Have you done any cleaning out of your house? Have you gone down memory lane with stuff? Have you found an old diary or anything?
Man, you know what is, so I had the house fire in Malibu and I lost a lot of like journals and things. And I kind of thought some things went missing that didn't. And so I found a couple things that I thought were gone, like a couple journals and especially pictures. My grandma has been in the senior living since it's all started and we can't go see her, obviously. So I found all these amazing pictures of my grandma who came here. My grandma came to California on a vacation with my granddad and he got drafted and had to go to war and she got stuck in LA and basically lived super close to where I am now, taking care of people's gardens. And I had no idea my grandma had even lived in LA or ever even knew what the valley was. My grandma drives a lawnmower as an actual vehicle.
No.
I never thought my grandma had ever been to LA. So apparently my grandma was like a gardener in the valley and I found all these wonderful pictures of her.
That's amazing.
No way.
That's a story that obviously nobody's heard before. Thank you for sharing that. That's
Yes,
really amazing.
What I did was my grandma was actually in a embroidered silk kimono that my granddad had sent from Japan. And the first thing I did was send a picture to Dolly. Because I'm like, you're not going to believe my grandma is like, I always thought that I got my fashion from you, you know? And I'm like, now I realize that like Mama Ruthie was it. Like she's like in the valley in silk embroidered custom robes. Like I gave Dolly the credit. I totally wasn't giving Mama Ruthie.
Man, how's she doing? Is she doing okay? Do you get a chance to FaceTime and stuff?
My grandma, one of my grandmas on my dad's side who drives a lawnmower, she's actually really good with tech. My dad doesn't have Wi-Fi, but she does. So that's really, my dad won't allow Wi-Fi, which I actually respect. I think so we can't bug him, maybe. Okay. He's the no service on the farm thing.
Okay.
So my grandma has Wi-Fi. My other grandma that's in senior living, she, it was totally random. There was this like cat that at a house that had been like abandoned for 9 years and been living in this bathroom. And I found her the day that my grandma's dog died. So I was able to give her this cat. And now this cat, Daisy, and my grandma are best friends and they're not alone during Corona. And it my entire heart because my grandma's dog was like 14. It died. And I found this cat on the same day. Is that not meant to be?
It's what she needed.
That's what she needed. So my grandma she renamed her Calico because she's a calico. She loves California.
And you know, it's interesting for so many people, you know, and I'm sure you've got this entire life, people looking at me like, oh, Miley Cyrus, wow, what a great life she leads. We're all the same inherently through this COVID-19 crisis because we all have loved ones that we can't be near. So fame, fortune, glory, whatever it may be behind somebody doesn't matter in the sense that you just want to hug your grandma. You just want to be with your family.
My grandma is starting to be a little forgetful. So she told me about the same Dr. Phil episode every single time I've talked to her.
Well, it's a damn good episode.
I saw that. It was good.
I'm sharpening my acting tools because I have to pretend like I've never heard of this in my life. So I'm really good at fake reactions. Like, no, wait, that is crazy. Like I've heard it now 55 times, but I let it be.
Dr. Phil likes that. He's happy about that.
She only watched Dr. Phil and like forensic shows, and it's actually kind of weird.
Let her know that Dr. Phil is going to have a new grandbaby pretty soon. His son just announced that they're expecting.
Oh my God. I'm sure she knows. I'm still finding out this Tuesday, except that would be new information. So no.
Hey, last thing I'll hit you with. Do you have any of your friends? Because Jill is going through this right now. She's at home, single, and she's dating somebody kind of virtually, a virtual quarantine suitor. Do you have any friends or family members that are going through that love life moment over the FaceTime or Zoom session?
I do not, but that sounds kind of nice. I'm like a person that I don't know if you do you know your love language? Do you know there's that whole quiz?
Yeah, I think you asked me before and I didn't know it.
You don't know your love language? Mine is kind of like mine's acts of service. So I like doing things for people and I like people to do things for me. But my one that I know I'm not is physical touch. I don't really like to be like touched that much. So that seems like for me, which honestly, by the way, has been so great during Corona. No one has to worry.
That's true.
Like, you know, like I'm at a 6 foot distance. Like there's no problem. My dad my dad's like, isn't this great? Like, see, I've been doing social distancing since the 90s. He's like, I've been thinking it was weird how much we hug and shake hands and things. But actually, people like me and my dad who are natural social distancers, even though you might look at some bangers for meet and greets where I kiss my fans, but that's only sometimes. I'm an extremist. But
So,
I don't have to touch, so dating online sounds good.
See, I'm a germaphobe. I get that. But you wouldn't take a good foot rub? Don't you enjoy a wonderful foot rub?
No, I think that I just am really weird about, no, I just like that in general, just like too much sweetie. I'm not really like sweet and like that. I'm pretty tough.
Well, I mean, a foot rub doesn't have to be like, oh, honey, does that feel good right there? Does that feel good? You can be like, here, take that foot rub. There you go.
If someone's going to get in there, yes. But like I could probably maybe get my little sister on a good day to do that. Noah, my little sister, is so good. I always make her like step on my back and like everything.
Yes.
She's the best masseuse of all time. So if anyone's going to rub my feet, it's only going to be Noah. But like ever since she turned 20, she's not really into that anymore.
She's not doing it. That stinks.
No.
I try it with my kid. I'm trying to pay him to rub my feet. He's 12 and his muscles are getting pretty strong.
Until I think about how many free massages I've given my parents. Like my dad, when I was like not as quite as large as I am now, would be like, just step on my back, just step right here. I was always walking on my parents. Now my parents are wondering every time they've been down to tie their shoes why their back goes out. I'm like, you had 5 kids. You had all of us walking on top of your back. Like this doesn't seem like we knew what we were doing. I would jump on my dad's spine. Like I don't
Yes.
My God.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like you're qualified to be a chiropractor child to jump on your dad's back.
And I'm not a very sensitive person. So my dad would be like, Sissy, can you like walk on my back right here? And of course I'd be like, sure, Dad, no problem. And then like jump as hard as I can onto the poor guy's back. And he literally can't tie his shoes anymore because his back hurts so bad. And I'm pretty sure it's bad.
It's not your fault. They want you to do it.
You have to tie cowboy boots, so just slip those on.
My dad only wears cowboy boots.
Yeah.
It's not because he can't tie his shoes. It's because he doesn't know how because he's never needed to. I don't think if my dad's only wearing cowboy boots because he doesn't know how to tie his shoes, I honestly wouldn't be shocked.
That's hilarious. Hey, listen, congratulations. We love the song. It's so great to see you again. I'm glad you're doing well. All of our love to your family. And when you come in, it'll be nice to see you in person again, too. That'll be awesome.
For sure. Maybe we can even like embrace.
No, we won't touch you.
Okay, that's
Foot
good.
rubs. Foot rubs?
Don't get near my feet.
Okay.
Super weird. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Miley.
Thank you, Miley.
I think
Bye-bye.